Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we are going to be doing probably two little sketchbook spreads in my sketchbook today since it is Monday, and I wanted to return back to doing more kind of like marker doodling, and I am not going to be matching the line art color with the color palette today. I am going to be using black because I guess I'll explain it a little bit because I always forget to show my color picking process for any of my spreads. But let's look at the sketches for now. So for the first spread, I wanted to do like morning Masaki. Masaki is my OC, by the way, who are we going to be drawing today. So just like little activities that he would do in the morning. And then the second spread, I wanted to do maybe some like night routine stuff. And I'll kind of get into more of the separate doodles once we start to work on them. But for now, let's talk about color palette stuff while the materials kind of roll on by, since the materials I think are more or less the same for a lot of my doodling sessions. So for color palette, I chose simple colors because Masaki's colors are pretty obvious. He either is kind of like peach, brown, and teal, or any kind of like shifting of those kinds of colors. So like I could do maybe blue and orange, or a little bit more of a greeny color with a peach tone, or even a red. Anything of those kind of color combinations I tend to tie with Masaki, so it's quite easy for me to doodle him because it's a cool color and a warm color, and it works nicely in his favor. So for coloring, I did choose kind of like a yellowy peach tone for the skin. I'm going to be switching to more of a little bit of a darker pink for the second spread. So my thought process, at least for when I was doodling, I just wanted to doodle Masaki like in general, but I decided to film the coloring and the lining process, and I thought it'd be cute to kind of match a morning and a night kind of spread for each of them, because it gave me a little bit more opportunity to draw him in kind of more home clothing and when he's not out and about, because I feel like because I don't talk about or draw my OCs as much as I would like to, I think people don't know that Masaki wears glasses at home. He wears contacts when he's out and about. So in the center, right directly in the middle of the spread, I do have him with his glasses. He has like simple rectangular glasses. So I don't know if I want to give him like colored frames. I think gray suits him for keeping things a little bit more on the simple side. So for the most part, his home attire is also very much just gray, kind of gray hoodie, white shirt, gray shorts is usually what I draw him in. And I feel like Masaki's a little bit more on the minimalistic side in terms of like when he's at home, he's very like low-key, much more of a homebody and prefers comfort over anything. But when he's out and about, I feel like I do like drawing him in a little bit more earthier tones, or leaning towards more of that teal brown color palette that I usually like to associate him with. So when choosing colors, because of the morning and night theme that I had going, I kind of wanted to do lighter colors for the morning spread and a little bit of a darker version for the night spread. Now, I don't think I made a high enough contrast for both of them to kind of be depicted in that way, but at least I was kind of trying to keep it in mind for the most part. So the first doodle I'm lining with the Uniball Vision, and the reason why I'm using the Uniball Vision anyways is that I want dark matte blacks for the line work. Because I didn't realize this until a little bit later, is that I chose colors that match Masaki, but there's not very much opportunity for me to use like the teal-y color, teal green color in many places, because his attire usually is that color, but because he's at home and I'm making most of his clothing gray, it doesn't leave me a lot of room. So I tried my best to kind of just stick in kind of a square or rectangle to block in my larger doodle of Masaki so that we can incorporate a little bit more of that color. And I did that for the second spread as well. But for the doodles, so the one on the very left that we kind of started with, I just wanted him to look like he's just kind of woke up, kind of tired. I was gonna do a sequence of activities and stuff in chronological order, but it didn't work out because I don't sketch directly from left to right. I actually started with the sketch in the middle that you're seeing me line right now, and then I did, I think, the ones on the right, then the one on the left. So yeah, things were definitely out of order, but maybe in the future, if I kind of want to make, I don't know, maybe it's my brain trying to give more love to my OCs that I kind of want to do more scenarios with them that might reflect kind of like a storyline of some sort. We'll see if I ever get there, but my first kind of steps that I want to take is just drawing my OCs more. I don't do a lot of finished drawings of them anymore, especially like my other OCs other than Masaki, because I do definitely favor Masaki the most. But every time I need like a reference of Masaki, I choose like the same drawings because the reference I have of him is very limited. I also do want to make some reference sheets for each of my OCs at some point, but yeah, I feel like I would like to, once I solidify maybe some of the other OCs clothing designs and stuff and how I want them to be portrayed like officially. Masaki I think is pretty much just finished and I doodle him however I want now, but for the most part I think his is kind of more solidified. But for this doodle, just wanted him to be with his hair pinned up and eating some toast in a giant hoodie in the morning, because I feel like he wouldn't eat too much in the morning because he's still kind of waking up, and then he'd probably eat more for lunch and dinner kind of person. I feel like maybe I'm just like projecting because I don't really like eating too much in the morning because I never feel hungry, and I feel like it's because my body's still like waking up, so maybe that's just because of that. Also for Masaki, so some like home habits I kind of like established in previous sketchbooks is that Sato recommended for him to pin his hair, I was gonna say bangs, yeah, basically his fringe or bangs back away from his face when he's at home, just because, you know, kind of keep your forehead clean and, you know, don't want buildup of oil and stuff. And I feel like because Masaki does have longer bangs for the most part, it might get in the way quite a bit, especially if you just want to be comfortable at home. I know for me, like, I don't like having my hair in front of my face too often if I'm at home and I just want to sit in comfort. I used to draw Masaki with like the apple hairstyle where you would pin, or not pin, you would tie basically your fringe upwards, but I feel like Sato wouldn't vouch for that. Be like the same thing kind of like with Asahi from Haikyuu where I forget her name, but like basically one of the managers were like, oh, like Asahi, you're gonna go bald if you pull your hair back too much, and I was like, I feel like Sato would have the same sentiment for Masaki tying just his fringe tightly in the front. So he would pin his hair in the morning or whenever he's out and about in his house. But yeah, that is it for the first spread. I didn't explain the other two doodles. I think they're kind of straightforward. So one, he's fixing his hair, and two, he's brushing his teeth. And I feel like, yeah, the upper right hand corner of that one, I wanted to have his hair fully down because I feel like Masaki would style his hair to have like the comma hairstyle. I don't feel like it would be naturally like that unless like maybe he dries his hair and maybe it's like that normally. But I feel like, you know, if you come out of the shower with freshly washed hair, more or less your hair will be down for the most part. So yeah, that's just kind of like little thought process of me when I'm doodling Masaki. So basically, because I've been kind of rambling here and there and kind of jumping topics, I didn't really address the color palette too much. So Masaki's home attire is gray, so I actually mixed the pink or the peach tone color that I had for his skin, or just indication of shadow for skin, and like for the blush marks and stuff. I had that for the base of his clothing, and then I actually took a pale blue, which is from the Tombow set, which I did not show in the beginning. I'll make sure to include it in the description or in the little flags above. But yeah, I needed something that was a lot more lighter of a blue that could work for kind of like more of a neutral tone in terms of like doing grays, and I feel like I like layering up the blue and the pink together just because it kind of meshing together kind of resembles a little bit of a gray, in a sense at least, or at least gives a little bit more color variation for fabrics that might be white or on the lighter side. So Similar to the first spread, I also did the gigantic rectangle of block of color for the kind of like turquoise color, because none of these doodles have like a lot of that color. So other than his eyes, which are green, his piercings are like the teal turquoise color. I decided to make the clip the same color as well, so you could add that throughout the whole spread. And then both in the morning set and the night doodles, I included one where he still has his normal clothes, like the normal turtleneck. So the one where I think in the morning spread, I had him, so it's like he's preparing to go out, so he's just fixing his hair after putting on his sweater. And then this one is more like when he came home and he's kind of preparing for, you know, getting comfortable and actually preparing for rest. Even though I have his hair pinned up here, I kind of think his hair would be completely down, because I feel like he would be the type to shower at night rather than in the morning. But I don't know, maybe Masaki's more of a morning person and does like a morning shower or something, I'm not too sure. But in the other spread, I did have his hair completely down, like it's wet. But maybe it's just like, you know, do a quick rinse in the morning instead. And then for this doodle, might look a little weird. I tried my best to make it look like maybe he's either, I guess like in this case, because it's a nighttime routine, it'd be him taking out his contacts after coming back from like school or from work. So yeah, that's what I was trying to do. I think it looked cuter as a sketch rather than when I started to outline it. But I did have to look up reference for this, because I personally don't wear glasses, like other than like blue light blocking glasses. But I don't have any experience like wearing any kind of contacts, whether it be like for like being able to see or for like cosmetic reasons, where it's like you're just doing it to change your eye color or making your iris bigger or whatever. Never wanted to stick anything in my eye, so I had to look it up to see if there's like a proper way of doing it. There's some... Okay, I'm definitely a squeamish person, so looking this up was probably a bad idea, but some people had some weird tools to remove like contacts from your eyes. It just looked very strange and it made me very like feel very squeamish, but yeah. Okay, so on to the next doodle. So for the larger one, I still wanted to kind of like highlight the fact that he has glasses at home and kind of this hairstyle for the most part. I've only doodled him like this a few times in previous sketchbooks, so hopefully I'm drawing it correctly. I also made his forehead extremely large in this doodle, so yeah, he kind of looks like an egg a little bit. Sorry, Masaki. Yeah, and then I forgot to omit the bracelet this time because I feel like Masaki wouldn't sleep with it on. There is a little bit of story behind it, but for the most part, I feel like at home he would wear it before sleep, maybe? Before sleep? Yes, he'll keep it on like when he comes home, but like once he's actually changed and stuff, I don't think he would have any accessories around him, because I don't think he's that type of person who wears a lot of like jewelry or any accessories or that kind of stuff, because he's more on the minimalistic side. Can you guys tell like my brain's like running on just a high speed right now? This is how I know I'm like super scatterbrained. So Masaki working on the laptop. I did a Sprout logo instead of like other laptop brands. But yeah, so mostly just working on stuff, probably for like homework and all that jazz. And then the last little one, the little tiny one, I wanted to draw him looking like he was pulling down his hoodie, like if he just popped out of his hoodie. Doesn't really look like it. He looks like he's just like gripping it, so I guess that's what we ended up with. Also for like text or anything like that for spreads like this, I do like adding some kind of dark drop shadow just to make it really punchy and kind of pop out. But yeah, because most of the colors were pretty much on the lighter side, I wanted to do a lot more black shading if I could. I could have added more to the one into like the middle, but I decided not to. But here are some close-ups for you guys so that if you wanted to see kind of the texture, what my sketches kind of look like, other than seeing the inking and the coloring process, this is kind of what it looks like. I don't really mind that the pink or the red kind of shows up underneath. I kind of like it just because I can see what my thought process was at the time, and yeah. So these are all the Masaki doodles. I do want to doodle him more or just like draw him more in general. So hopefully in the future you'll see some draw with me videos or sketching videos where I draw Masaki more. because I want to do more finished illustrations. Also, I'm trying to combat his egg-shaped head, so I don't think that really helped, but no, that's okay. But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video and watching me draw Masaki for 2 spreads with this kind of marker and fine liner method. But yeah, I think that's it for today, and I'll talk to you guys next time in the next video. Bye!